You like that, old man? You want a piece of me?
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Good morning, Vietnam! I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
You do. You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Happy Wednesday, moviegoers. Welcome, film fans. Welcome to a new episode of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. I am one of the hosts, Juan, and I am joined by the cast, the crew, the Pirates. Zach.
Parlay.
Craig.
Yo.
Edward.
Yeah.
Man, how long has it been, Zach? You're our human Sheldon over here. How many weeks has it been since we've been all four together?
April, May?
Probably May at least, yeah. I think you're right. Because I think me and Ed did The Flash, and then Craig, you're on for John Wick Chapter 4. So, yeah, it's just been hit and miss.
Spider-Man.
1 week.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, we're here. We have a new episode. We're talking the 20th anniversary, just a few days, after of Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. We also have a new top 5 coming out for you. We have recent watches that we're going to go through. The email bag. We're going to put some gloves on and dig into someone's email bag.
Full episode.
Full episode.
Full episode. Oh my god!
It's you're still in and you're out. Hope everybody had a good week. Zach, what about you? Did you have a good weekend?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Basically, binge watch. We'll talk about that in recent watches, and that's about it. So.
You too. What'd you
Craig?
watch?
Craig, what about you? You have a good weekend?
Yeah, quick weekend. Tried to go see Mission Impossible Monday. Didn't work out, so now
It's already out, right?
It was early access on Monday and Tuesday.
I know it's already out now.
Yeah.
And so now we wait for tomorrow.
Mission Impossible. I think I'm going to make it my mission. Try to go watch it this weekend, or hopefully before the next time we get on and talk the movie. Ed, I'm sorry. What about you? Did you have a good week?
It was all right. I mean,
had a new addition, a new member to the family.
I did get a new toy, if you will. So it's already pretty nice. First off,
you already used it.
Huh?
You already go take it to
I have not
dinner.
Initiated.
Take it to dinner.
I have not initiated yet. Yeah. So EAP has not been initiated yet.
So that's what we're here for. But guys, we're also here to help out a friend in need.
Yes.
You're also watching us live on Swap Productions YouTube channel. For everybody who watches this YouTube channel, usually you see a bunch of content: wrestling, horror movies, Pokemon cards, all kind of cards, but mainly wrestling, independent in Texas. But a lot of that is quiet right now on this YouTube channel. Pretty much the only thing you might be seeing weekly is probably us on this YouTube channel. For everybody that's still out in podcast land, Spotify, Anchor, Podbean, iHeartRadio, Pandora, this kind of doesn't revolve around pretty much a lot of the audio shows. But you still can donate through listening to the audio. So Tiff and Franco, if you're watching this live on the YouTube channel, there's their PayPal and their Cash App. You can help them out. You can buy T-shirts. You can do anything to donate, because this past week they found out that their little girl has leukemia, which has halted all work-related issues, work-related businesses. They work independent wrestling shows on the weekends as well, and all that has just halted for now. So if you can, take a picture of this, go back and watch the video on demand. If you're listening to this audio podcast Wednesday after 9 p.m., go back and watch it on the YouTube channel. Just YouTube search Swap Productions, and the YouTube channel pops up. Donate. Anything can help. If you can't donate, go find these guys on social media, share their stuff, help them out, do whatever you can. Right there's the GoFundMe and the Cash App and the Venmo, all on the streaming YouTube video on demand live at the bottom of the screen. It's also right here in the comments. And if you go to the comments, I have it posted as well on the comments, which has the links that you can just post up there as well. So I know everybody here at this YouTube channel, I got involved with Franco and his wife and everybody down in Corpus Christi through networking. We would talk about them for a little bit on our podcast. They would talk about us on their show. We did some cross-platform stuff, and then they invited us to do this, be on their YouTube channel, and now we can do the podcast every week from the comfort of our own home now. Craig, you were on a few episodes of theirs that they did. We've done like some fun streams and stuff. Everybody over there is just always so helpful. So in this time of need, let us help them. Go through, click on these links, go back and listen and watch the audio or the video podcast on YouTube, and do whatever you can. $1, it doesn't matter. Just if you can't donate, share it. Send them a message. Just, let them know that everybody's thinking about them. The little girl she had to go back to the hospital today, so everything was going just fine. But so whatever we can do to help out, let us know. So very, very tough times. So like I said, if there's anything else we can do, let us all know. We can do what we can do. Like I said, you can also find them on all their social medias. Franco, Wrestling Tacos, Imaswa Productions. If you want to get a hold of them, let them know that you're thinking about them. Even a quick email. You guys can email us, and we'll send it over to them, read it, and we'll do what we can to help guys. I have a little girl who's 8. Craig, you have a little girl, and it's like, if you could imagine just the events that they went through, and she passing out, and you having to take her to the emergency room and waiting. I get shaky just thinking about it if it was mine. So prayers and everything definitely being sent that way.
For sure.
All right, guys. Now this week we have another top 5. This is the second week in a row that we've had a back-to-back top 5. We used to have it every week, but this week, guys, last week, Zach, what did we talk about? We talked about our top 5
most anticipated movies. No, I'm sorry. The best of 2023 so far.
Best of 2023 so far. So that was a pretty fun top 5. If you haven't seen it yet, go back and listen to it wherever you listen to podcasts at. All the social medias, go and check out our links. You can find all of our links to our social media pages, facebook.com/the Cine-Men Movie Podcast, Instagram, one word, /the Cine-Men Movie Podcast, and the Twitter is at Cine-Men405. But yeah, last week we talked top 5 of 2023 so far. We had a lot more fun emails about those top 5 movies this week as well that I'll get to later. Yeah, but this week we're talking our top 5, what we're most looking forward to for the rest of the year. So that's what we'll get into today. I don't have any honorable mentions. Does anybody else have any?
Negative.
Barbie. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, go for it if that's what you are looking forward to.
I just have 3.
Ain't nothing wrong with a little.
If they don't sing the Barbie song in there, I'm gonna be kind of mad about that. Exactly.
I'm sure they will. I don't know how they couldn't.
I think they did a remake of it with what's that?
Pitbull? No, I'm just Mr. Worldwide.
She's got.
That was a little too good.
She's got colorful hair. I don't know, but no, they did a redo of it just for the movie. So Zach, you wanted to get through your honorable mention?
Yeah, The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, the prequel to the other movies. Ghostbusters Afterlife 2. I really enjoyed the first one, so we'll see how that one does. And then official honorable mention is Napoleon, the new Ridley Scott movie with Joaquin Phoenix. The trailer dropped this week, and it looks pretty good. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll start off with number 5. I'll go first, I guess, since none of us had honorable mentions except for Zach. The Equalizer 3. It's almost like everything Denzel does and touches. It's like I'm gonna go out of my way to see that, even if it's Macbeth and like only 2 people saw it. I am gonna go out of my way and try to see the Equalizer 3 opening weekend. So anything Denzel, sign me up. That's my number 5. Zach?
My number 5, if it's done right and they can build like a cool mythology with it, I think it could be a really cool idea and a really cool movie, is Wonka, Timothy Chalamet, Willy Wonka movie. The trailer dropped yesterday or Monday or whatever. It looks pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. So we'll see how that turns out. Well, I mean, you got to put the Oompa Loompas in there somehow. So I guess Hugh Grant's gonna do it. So that's my number 5.
Number 5 for you, Edward.
But
we all won't do it though.
I know. Nope. My heart, brother.
Peter Pan and Wendy. I don't know if that is out or not yet. I haven't. Yeah, but that is one that I am looking forward to.
It's on Disney Plus, brother.
It is.
Is it really already?
Yeah, it's been out for like 2 months.
Yep.
You haven't seen it yet, so I guess
that'll
be
on my list next week.
Oh no!
What's next week's top 5?
The worst of 2023 so far.
My number 5, my number 5 is going to be Equalizer 3. I'm right there with Johnny. It's Denzel, and at this point in Denzel's career, you don't know how much more he's going to go on. He's done enough to call it quits. So I think anytime he does something, you gotta take advantage of it and see it when you can on the big screen.
Oh yeah.
Oh, number 4. It's technically already out. It came out, I believe, on Tuesday. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm excited to watch it. Is the latest A24 movie, Beau is Afraid. Joaquin Phoenix, 2 hours and 59 minutes of slow A24 movie from what I've heard of previews. I've heard so many mixed things about it. It's the worst movie they've seen this year. It's the best movie they've seen this year. So came out on Tuesday. Definitely watch it this weekend, and I'll probably talk about it next week. So number 4 for me is Beau is Afraid. Number 4, Zach?
Number 4, again, like my number 5, if they can do it right, it should be a really cool movie. The Last Voyage of the Demeter. It's the Dracula movie. It's essentially a chapter in the book of Dracula where they transport his coffin to London on a boat in the middle of the ocean, and all hell literally breaks loose. So I think it could be a cool horror movie if they play the cards right.
Yeah, for sure on that one.
And speaking of 2023, like horror movies this year have been producing cash. Like it's almost like an A-team at this point for movie studios. $1 million budget brings back like 40, 50, 60 million opening weekend. We just saw that with Insidious Chapter 5. Is it 5?
Yep.
That came out this past weekend.
Yeah. Dethroned Indiana Jones. So what does that tell you?
$70 million opening weekend. So I'm sorry. Who, Craig?
What also dethroned Indiana Jones is Sound of Freedom. Yeah, that's bringing in tons of money.
That's pretty good. That's pretty cool.
Speaking of, Disney had the rights to that, didn't want to put it out there for whatever reason. Not going to get political, but Angel Studios bought it, and now they're making money. My number 4 is going to be Kraven the Hunter. Looks fantastic. Still not sure if it's going to be fantastic. I mean, Sony movies have been hit and miss. The first Venom movie was pretty good. Second Venom movie was all right. And then what was that one with Jared Leto?
No, Morbius.
Morbius. Yeah, that's so. Couple good, one bad. So we'll see where it goes.
That's how you know how bad it is. Nobody remembers what that movie was.
So that's my number 4.
Number 4 for you.
Number 4, just like you just mentioned, came out just this past week. Insidious: The Red Door. That one, I've seen a lot of the promotional
Reviews
ads
for it.
and all that for it. Looks really, really cool. Yeah, man, I followed this Insidious series for a while now, so can't wait for that one.
Number 3 for me. I'm a fan of this. It doesn't matter if it's Gene Wilder or Johnny Depp. Zach, you mentioned it earlier. I can't wait to see Wonka. I think Timothy Chalamet is going to be just fine. And I think the only thing that kind of scares me about Wonka is it's from the same creators who did Paddington 2, I believe, which Paddington, they're great movies.
What movie was that where they talk about Paddington? We just did it.
Unbearable Weight of Massive Talents. That's a great joke.
Don't talk trash about Paddington, bro.
So, but I feel like it's going to be a little too kid friendly. I don't know. You guys know what I'm talking about. The original Willy Wonka is kind of creepy at times. Gene Wilder is definitely not a kid favorite. And then the Johnny Depp one is almost eerie as well. So I think this one is, I don't know, I think this one might be too magical. If that's the only thing that worries me is you knew about Willy Wonka with the magic, but he never flaunted it and taunted it. It looks like he's a full-out wizard in the trailer.
I saw Hugh Grant. It's freaking me out. So
yeah. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited about Hugh Grant being a Wonka or an Oompa Loompa. I mean,
I don't know, man. I don't know.
But yeah, they know what they do because every single time.
As long as it's not just his face plastered on all of them. What movie did they do that where every single one was the same CGI'd face?
It was the Johnny Depp.
Yeah,
the Johnny Depp
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
That freaked me out.
And they didn't even change his look. Like he was just that same little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saw that in the theater. Never had the desire to rewatch it.
Number 3 for me is Wonka.
What?
Ed, number 3.
Number 3 for me.
Oh, Zach, number 3.
Zach, number 3.
Yeah. My number 3 has already been mentioned twice. The Equalizer 3. I think it's going to be awesome. Denzel, he's never done sequels. The fact that he's done 3 of these all together, is badass. And this one looks like it's the final one that they're going to do. It looks like they're going to go all out for it. So I saw the trailer for it before Indiana Jones, and it looks pretty badass. So I'm excited for that one. That's my number 3.
Ed, number 3.
Number 3 for me, I'm going to go ahead and head up with Kraven the Hunter. Like Craig said, looks really, really good. So here's hoping to it. So.
Craig, number 3.
Number 3. This movie stars Orlando Bloom, which we're also talking about today. Gran Turismo. Not much of a racing guy as far as a sport goes, but you put me in that Dolby Theater with some roaring engines, and we got something. But yeah, Orlando Bloom, David Harbour, who was in Stranger Things and Black Widow. Looks to be a promising movie. Looks to be good. Looks to be exciting. Based on a true story where a guy got a chance to become a race car driver by playing a video game. So we'll see. Another Sony movie, by the way.
Sony's killing it. Number 2 for me is going to be Dune Part 2. Craig, you talk about Dolby. You talk about seeing on the best screen that you can possibly see. I think I'm gonna have to tag along with you this year to go see it at the Dolby. But number 2 for me is, Dune Part 2. Number 1 blew me away. I can't wait to see what this one's about. Zach?
Number 2 is probably going to be the front runner for the Oscars this year. Killers of the Flower Moon. Martin Scorsese's new girthy 3 hours and 26-minute movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, Brendan Fraser's in it. Looks really good. It's cool that they shot it here in Oklahoma, so I'm excited to see how that transpired, how they translated things from then to now, or now to then. Yeah, I think this should be good. It'll have a theatrical release in October, then Apple TV shortly thereafter. So I'm excited to see it.
Which Apple original.
Yeah, I mean, if they get another Best Picture winner, that's pretty impressive.
This could be the start of them really starting to produce
quality
big time
movies.
films. Yeah, I mean, so far they've hit on almost everything they've put out. Everything they've put out has good reviews by the people that watch it.
Well, Coda doesn't have a physical release, so I'm pissed about that.
Well, and the fact that Apple TV is like one of the newest streaming platforms, and they've already got an Oscar winner. Netflix doesn't. HBO, Hulu. I mean, it's crazy. So
HBO probably will though. So let's be
eventually.
Last of Us is probably going to win.
Emmys came out today, and it got nominated for pretty much everything. So we'll see. Yeah. Craig, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is Dune. Johnny, I'm right there with you. Wasn't Dune 1 looked cool in the trailers? It's like something was like, I'll go see that in the theater. It'll probably be cool and everything. I'm pumped for Dune 2. Everything about it. Austin Butler as a villain looks pretty good. Excited to see what he does after his big thing with Elvis. So put me in the Dolby, baby. That's where we'll be.
Edward, number 2 for you.
Number 2 for me is The Hunger Games, Ballad of Snakes and Songbirds. Looks very, very good. Loving to add to the lore of The Hunger Games. So can't wait to see that on the screen. It was pretty good in the book. So, yeah.
In January, my number 1 was Mission Impossible. In July,
I know what it is.
My number 1
Bard.
Is not only Killers of the Flower Moon because it's not out yet, but I'm still sticking with Mission Impossible. I haven't seen it yet. I'm excited. It comes out this week. Tom Cruise completely had his way with all of us in the theater last year, and we came out very, very happy people. I think he's going to do the same thing with us. I think he's going to do the same thing with us this year.
Is it still holding strong at 99%? I haven't checked it, but that was the initial.
98. I think it's 98 now. I think
97.
So some dumbass decided to put a bad review on it.
Dude, it doesn't have giant airplanes. It probably does have giant airplane.
So that's my number 1 is Killers of the Flower Moon, but still Mission Impossible.
Bro, he doesn't even go like 10 G's in it.
Oh, she got a ring. Show him the bling. Show him the bling.
Oh no!
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right, go in there. I'll be done. Bit.
Zach, number 1.
Number 1 has already been mentioned twice. Dune Part 2. I'm in love with you guys. I'm very, very excited about this. Just the cast, just the additions to the cast: Austin Butler, Florence Pugh, Christopher Walken. That second trailer was even better than the first. So I'm very, very hyped to see how this is going to go. Yeah, I agree with you, Craig. Dolby, IMAX, whatever the best way to watch this is.
Whatever your preferred way is, get to the biggest screen. Get to the best screen. I might even try a little 4DX.
Oh,
wow. Yeah.
Like, I believe this is one of those movies when he hops on that.
Need a little D in your life?
I don't need. I need 4D in my life.
Edward, number 1 for you.
I'm probably gonna catch a lot of shit for this, but it is what it is.
Is it Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
You're not far off. No, you're not far off. The Legend of the White Dragon.
Who?
The Legend of the White Dragon.
Is this some A24 movie or something?
No,
Is this the Jason David Frank movie?
it is. It
Oh,
is the
okay. I was
Power
about to.
Ranger. It's the
Hey.
Power Ranger movie.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Basically, it's kind of a last hurrah. For that matter, it's a
very
movie he
good.
was working on for a while. It's kind of depicting the legendary White Power Ranger. I'm not sure if it's going to be like a finale, if it's going to be a goodbye, or if it's going to be just kind of like in this time in his life or what.
It's going to be a Tim Allen salute, just like Tool Time. You do that, Zach, at the live?
Yeah, he did really? Actually. Yeah.
Craig, number one for you, sir. Finish us off.
Number one for me, I had it as a tie, but like I'm excited to see Oppenheimer, but like I think number one Mission Impossible deserves everything. It deserves that soul spot. Number one. I am excited to see Oppenheimer. I kind of put them 1A, 1B just because they're pretty much a week apart. You could go see them in one day if you wanted to, if you waited till next Thursday. But
do a triple feature with Barbie, Oppenheimer, and Mission Impossible.
Technically, hey, that's a Thursday right there.
Don't give them any ideas. So.
No, after watching, which we didn't do any recent watches.
That's coming up next, Daddy.
Oh, spoiler! After watching Mission Impossible 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then just going back and thinking about Top Gun, like you said, like, is this movie gonna be in theaters for 5 months or whatever? Like Top Gun was, probably not, but it'll probably be there throughout September.
Oh
yeah.
So,
and let's get into Zach. You already gave your number one, right? Everybody gave their number one.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. If you guys want to participate, some of you already have in the emails. Send us an email, cinemen921@gmail.com for your top 5 movies you're most looking forward to, or your top 5 movies best of 2023 so far. That being said, Craig, let's get into recent watches. You want to start us off? You already said you kind of binge watched Mission 1 through 4. Same here. I'm on. I start 5 later this week, probably today or tomorrow.
Yeah, same with number 5. Watch those. Pitch Perfect 1, 2, and 3 seem to be on repeat with Adley. So at some point I'm like, hey, it's a little too much. All right. But watch those. I actually started watching the Reacher Amazon Prime TV series. Watched a few episodes of that the other day. So I think I'm on episode 4 now.
It's pretty good.
I absolutely love what's his name? Alan Richmond. I think is his name.
Something like that. Yeah.
After seeing him on Blue Mountain State, as Thad, you're like, there's no way this is going to be a solid show. It got me. It hooked me within the first couple minutes of a show, and that's what I look for in a show. That's usually what keeps me hooked throughout the end of the season. So, I'll probably finish that in the next couple of days, but. Mission 1 through 4 and a couple episodes of Reacher. So
I'll rapid fire run through mine real quick. I got the itch to watch Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I'm going to try to go see the new indie this week. It was a fun movie. Indiana Jones flying an alien artifact. Pretty fun. I'll tell you what wasn't fun. I watched Fantastic Beasts 1, 2, and 3.
You watched what?
Fantastic Beasts 1, 2, and 3.
You didn't like them?
I liked Where to Find Them. The best one to me was The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Yep.
And then 3 was just terrible. I did not like 3 at all.
I honestly don't even remember what happened in 3. That's how forgettable it was.
That's the one with
and they elected a new leader basically for the Wizarding World. And
to me, it would be 766, 765.
Yeah, I mean, when I watched them months ago, they were enjoyable. Like that, they weren't 10s, but they were enjoyable.
I rewatched Mission 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Those are enjoyable, but you definitely can't tell, Craig. mentioned over some text messages that they get, Zach, you said too, they get better as they go on with age.
Yeah.
I checked out Monster House for the first time in years. I
Monster
forgot how
House.
good that movie is.
The cartoon, the animated.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I forgot
The
how
house comes to life.
Yeah, I forgot how good that is.
It
I
is.
checked out.
Can we talk about the opening sequence with Philip Seymour Hoffman in Mission Impossible 3? Was that not
It's
one
incredible.
of, like, that was when I watched it, I remember it was good, but as I'm watching it, I was like, no, there hasn't been many movies that kick off with the opening sequence like that in a while.
And you know, the thing I can appreciate is, and it's always Philip Seymour Hoffman, when he's in it and his face turns red and he's passionate and he's yelling in his dialogue, you stop what you're doing, whether you're looking at your phone, talking to somebody, you stop what you're doing and you listen to his dialogue.
Yeah.
I saw that in the theater and I was just like, damn, like this is what we're in for this movie. It was, that's like, that'd be a cool top 5 as to top 5 best Mission Impossible scenes. That might be up there in the top 5, honestly.
I watched a bad A24 movie, False Positive.
Oh no.
On Hulu. It was a Hulu exclusive, not a very good movie. I checked out the first episode of Secret Invasion on Disney Plus. I thought it was okay. And then I checked out The Curse of the Black Pearl for today's episode. Oh, the thing I want to mention that I think is fantastic was Flamin' Hot on Hulu. Disney Plus. If you have not watched it yet, I highly recommend it. One of my favorite movies. If I watched this 2 weeks ago, it would have made my top 5 list last week. So
nice.
And get yourself a bag of hot Cheetos because it makes you hungry.
You gotta eat hot Cheetos with cheese, though.
Always. But yeah. What about you? Do you have anything you want to recommend or anything fun that you watched?
So we've been kind of starting to binge. You're going to be proud of me, but The Big Bang Theory.
Oh, okay. I thought it was going to be Yellowstone.
I said Johnny. No. We are on season 3.
Nice.
Already, and it's just been a week since like Saturday when we started.
Yeah, I got mine through pretty quickly. Went through all 12 seasons in like just a few weeks. You can knock out like 5 episodes in an hour if you're time it right.
I watched Curse of the Black Pearl as well. Going through that, and then funny enough, and I see the figure standing over there on your restarted DBZ. So that's pretty cool.
It's a DBZ fighter, so it's like kind of animated.
Oh yeah, I was about to say the metallic is pretty cool on the clothes for that matter. I restarted that, and I'm so far just 4 episodes in. Or, well, no, 5. I'm sorry. Raditz has died already. But yeah, so far that is the beef of it.
What would you recommend? The Beef. Have you seen Beef yet?
Beef?
No.
That's a whole story. You guys need to watch Beef on Netflix.
Are you talking
the A24 TV show?
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I thought you were talking about the one where.
No, not yet. It got a bunch of Emmy awards today, so I guess I'll have to.
You have to. It's good.
I thought you were talking about the beef that rappers had with each other, the series on that. Those are pretty good.
Zach, what about you? What did you check out this week? You want to recommend anybody?
No, we just did like a binge watched Curse of the Black Pearl, and I binged watched The Good Doctor. We're like on season 4 now, and next week Star Trek. Check it out on Paramount Plus. So.
But this week's episode, this movie that we are about to talk about, you guys can talk and watch on Disney Plus. I don't recommend the 4K. It's a terrible transfer. You might as well just stay at home and watch the Blu-ray or watch it on Disney Plus. But that's what we're getting ready to dig into today is Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. Blacksmith Will Turner teams up with eccentric pirate Captain Jack Sparrow to save his love, the governor's daughter, from Jack's former pirate allies who are now undead. Starring Johnny Depp, Godfrey Rush, Orlando Bloom, Keira Knightley, directed by Gore Verbinski. Like we said, you can check this out on Disney Plus.
And you can see it in the theaters actually right now at the Warren. It's part of Disney's 100th anniversary thing. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
IMDb has it at 8.1, Rotten Tomatoes at 80%, while the Meta score is at 63%. This was released July 9th, 2003. With a budget of only $140 million, it's grossed over $655 million at the box office with 5 Oscar nominations, including Best Actor for Johnny Depp. Zach, we'll start with you. Do you remember the first time you've seen Pirates, and what was it like revisiting it for this episode?
Yeah, probably no surprise. I did see this in the theater. I actually remember like the hype around this coming out, and it, kind of I was like, well, it's probably going to be okay, not up to the hype of everyone talking about it. Walked out of the theater, I was like, that was awesome. Like, I probably wanted to see it again, and I was hoping there would be a sequel. We'll talk about the sequels probably sometime in this episode. And on seen it obviously several times between here and there on the rewatch. Love it even more. And I forgot, really, I hadn't seen the first one in quite some time, and I forgot how fun this movie was. And it's 2 hours and like 25 minutes, and it flies by.
I think this became an episode because I randomly just watched it earlier this year and mentioned that it was how I just was like, this is a fantastic movie. We should probably do it. And I think that's when Johnny. And
I brought it up. It was like, it's celebrating 20 years this year. I was like, yeah, we got to talk about this. So
that's crazy. 5 years, almost 6 years of this podcast. We've never talked a Pirates movie. But what better way? Craig brought it up, and it was a fantastic watch.
It was strategically placed for the 20th anniversary.
Zach brought it up with the 20th anniversary. It had a 4K release last year for its anniversary, a year early. This is a movie that I did not see in the theater. I honestly did not watch until the third one came out. No, the fourth one. Once the fourth one came out, I bought this trilogy set here, and then watched all 3 of them, and then watched the fourth one. So I probably saw the first one in like 2013, 2012, when the fourth one came out. And I was like, the first one's pretty good. But really didn't have any desire to rewatch any of the other ones. So we'll talk about the sequels. Ed, what about you? Do you remember the first time you watched it? And if not, what was it like for this episode?
Exactly when, I don't remember, but I know it was not long after it came out on like DVD and all that. I know that for a fact, but like Zach said, I remember a lot of the hype around it. I remember a lot of people being very excited about it. Classmates of mine were talking about it and all that different stuff. As far as I've watched this dozens and dozens of times, so I know this movie pretty well. And it's always the same for me. I always truthfully really like it.
Craig, what about you? I know you rewatched it a few months back. Did you rewatch it before today? And if so, what was it like?
Yeah, I just kind of did a refresher. Watched like the opening 15 minutes, kind of skimmed through. I skipped all the dead scenes just so I could get like the action, the dialogue that really mattered. But yeah, we rented it and watched it as a family when it came out on DVD. And then from that point on, it became part of us like Lord of the Rings did. Like when it came out, we went and saw it as a family. Okay. And so like you guys said, there was hype behind it and everything. But when my mom specifically, she loves these movies. When my mom and dad saw it, they were all in, and they were excited for it to go see it when they came out.
Yeah, let's dig into it a little bit. It's crazy that it came out in 2003. When we as 90s babies think of Johnny Depp movies, we're like, don't fuck with our Johnny Depp movies, boy. But Pirates of the Caribbean is one of those movies that certain people know him for roles. I think he's known for Captain Jack Sparrow. He does, Make-A-Wish scenes as Captain Jack Sparrow. A lot of people would be like, oh, Edward Scissorhands. Yeah, no, Captain Jack Sparrow. But to go through and dig into this movie today and see that he was nominated for Best Actor that year to play that role, and just to watch him in this first movie, I had an absolute blast watching this movie today because, sometimes you get caught up in franchise movies and you can't think about number one without thinking about the terrible number three. But I didn't do that today. I was like, you know what? I may or may not watch the rest of them, but I'm going to focus in on just this is a solo movie, and it was fantastic. Especially
I agree. And
some of the like the dialogue they use as pirates, the opening, like some of the opening scenes where Jack is battling with Orlando Bloom, like in the barn when some of those opening scenes are real fun.
Yeah, I mean, and let's talk about this for a second. I mean, his intro is just so damn hysterical, where he's on top of the boat and it's like sinking down into the water. But I think the reason this movie was so successful, and we can argue or have our differences about it. I just think because Disney went with the risk. This is based off a theme park ride, and it paid off. It immensely paid off. This could easily failed. I know for a while when this was coming up, people thought this was going to be like the Titanic for Disney. It was going to flop real hard. They're going to be out a lot of money on this. And no, you get the right director, you get the right cast, the right theme, a throwback to swashbuckler movies from like the 40s and 50s. It was a blast. And, I think that's what Disney lacks today is just taking risk on things instead of doing like remake after remake and just focusing on safe stuff. So, and that's just my opinion on it.
You said it earlier too with the score and the sound. Like, isn't this Hans Zimmer?
He wrote the music, but the actual composer is like Klaus something. But yeah, This is technically a Hans Zimmer score, and it feels like a Hans Zimmer score.
So one of the cool things back in the day, I think in 04, 05, I played violin for quite a while in school. Became decent, but I actually got to play the opening theme song just in class, but got to learn it for The Curse of the Black Pearl. So, I mean, that was, pretty cool in itself just to learn.
And that's go ahead, Craig.
No, go ahead. It'll give me time to continue to dig in on this.
No, I was just going to say, and the score itself, he's a pirate, just like the theme for this movie. It's so iconic. You just know exactly what it is. And it's just the perfect symbolism, I guess you could say, for Jack Sparrow as a character. It's just but between the performance of Johnny Depp and the score, it's just the meat and potatoes of the show, I guess you could say.
One thing they truly do with the score that's pretty cool throughout this entire film, and I think they've done it in most of the franchise, is the decrescendo and crescendo, how they make it loud and how they make it, kind of soft and all that. Because at times when he's sneaking around or something like that, it'll be a soft little, and all that. And then when the big fight scenes, it's just boom in your face, just loud and proud, and stuff like that is just really the cool things that they've put in here. And I mean, a lot of movies do it, and a lot of composers do it. Don't get me wrong; it's nothing new, but it's just a really cool small touch that they do.
So what I was going to say is Disney had live action movies prior to this.
Yeah.
I believe this movie in particular is the one that put them on the trajectory to make those bigger live action movies. I mean, I'm looking at Disney movies from the 90s and the early 2000s. Nothing really compares to this in terms of score, cast, dialogue, action, just overall, how much money they put into it. Just everything that is about this movie is the biggest that they did in the 90s up to this point. So
let me ask you guys what you think. Do you think this movie was so much fun and good and original and successful because when they made it, their initial plan wasn't sequels and to build a franchise because they didn't know if this was going to be a success? Because
I think so, yeah.
It feels like this movie is almost, I don't
A
want to say.
one-off.
Well, if you watch it as a one-off, it's a terrific from point A to point B movie. Act 1, 2, and even the ending Act 3, like it's fantastic. I just feel like, we're sitting here talking 20 years of Pirates, and I feel like it's like not trending because why? Like I feel like it's kind of been a forgotten film.
Well, I have a couple theories on that.
Scandal? Is it because of the franchise and maybe how bad the last one did?
Yeah,
they changed the cast, so I think some of the chemistry wasn't there. I think maybe a little bit of fatigue towards the end of it. But if they were to come out and somehow get the original cast to come out and do don't just throw something on the wall to make it happen. Like if you have something like Top Gun 2, where it's a cast that's worthy of making a film, and you can put money into it, it would be $1 billion film.
Yeah,
but if they just try to make a film to go out and say we're going to throw the Pirates logo on it and people are going to come out and do it, it's not going to make money. It's not going to be. It'll probably make money, but it's not going to be good.
Well, you've got to understand it's like Johnny Depp has become Pirates, of the Caribbean. Like without him, Geoffrey Rush does a wonderful job. Orlando Bloom is pretty good. Keira Knightley is not bad, but there's a difference. It is him. It's like doing Star Wars.
He's the face of the franchise.
Well, it's like doing Star Wars without Mark Hamill. It doesn't work that easily.
Weren't they gonna talk about? Yeah, they were talking about doing a Pirates of the Caribbean movie with Margot Robbie.
Yeah,
but now that Johnny Depp is clear and free, I think they've started negotiating with him to bring him back.
I was thinking about this today. If he had, I think all of us would agree. If he came back and did another Pirates, it would easily make $1 billion. I would agree with you on that, Craig. But I kind of think that if they would come up with the idea, and I don't know how this would really work, but if Jack Sparrow had a daughter, because in the funny scene in this movie is just like, not sure I deserve that. I think I deserve that, type thing, and cash in on Jenna Ortega, who's like the hottest thing right now, as his daughter. I think that could kind of be a cool idea, to be honest.
Right.
You could still add Margot to the mix.
Yeah.
Right now there is on Google, if you go and search up Pirates of the Caribbean franchise or whatever have you, there is actually a Pirates of the Caribbean Tales of the Code Wedlocked that states that Johnny Depp, Vanessa Branch, Lauren Mayer, Walter Williamson, and several other people will be in the film. It doesn't state when it's going to be out or anything like that, but it does actually.
If that's not fan made, if that's not fan made,
fan fiction, yeah.
Added to the actual Google.
That's a short from 2011.
This is from 2011.
Yeah, I think that's when
Pirates of the
Stranger
Caribbean
Tides, Stranger Tides came out.
Wedlock. That's a 10-minute prequel.
I've never even heard this thing.
Yeah. Well, and I know during the trial between him and Amber Heard, they asked him, would you ever go back to Pirates? And he said no. Like, he's done with that.
Yeah.
But he said in June, he said if the story is right, he'd be open to coming back. So I think it's
he needs some light bill money.
I need some money to get more guitars so I can play with my friends.
the jar of cocaine on the table, you mean?
He's also in that fine
it's a jar of
cologne commercial too.
Oh yeah.
Isn't he in a movie coming out though pretty soon?
Yeah, he plays like Henry the Ninth or something like that. It's like a French type film. He's getting a lot of buzz for it though, so we'll see.
Jean Dubarry.
Yeah.
Jean Dubarry, 51% Rotten Tomatoes. Go back to Pirates, my guy.
We talked about the score. We also, I want to bring up the CGI. Some of the undead pirates were kind of hinge-worthy.
It's 2003.
I thought they actually held up, to be honest.
It does hold up, yeah.
The rum is not always gone. It's just always placed in a different area.
Johnny, I think if you drink some rum during this, it would look really good. I'm not going to lie.
Maybe your TV's just better than ours.
Usually pineapple juice goes with it.
So We haven't really talked about her at all on the episode either. Keira Knightley. I think
Fantastic.
This was her first, right? One of her first movies. She ended up blowing up after this with like Pride and Prejudice, and some other films as well.
I mean, of course, she played like the decoy of Queen Amidala in Phantom Menace.
Yeah,
but that was kind of a wash, you know.
I don't think she even remembers.
She's in a lot of. I think she only comes back for. She's not in.
She's in 2, 3, and she shows up in 5, I think.
2, 3, and 5.
She's not in 4. Neither is Orlando Bloom.
What about Orlando Bloom's little 6-year run there though?
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, Pirates of the Caribbean, Troy. However you feel about Kingdom of Heaven, it was still a big time movie name when it came out. I remember that.
Yeah.
He had a good run. I still think, some of the movies he's in lately haven't been completely terrible. The last movie that I saw that he was good in was Outpost. It's a really good war movie.
And someone that I didn't even know was, I didn't know who she was at the time, but Zoe Saldana, one of her early roles. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do we think about? No, go ahead, Greg.
I was gonna say it's hard to believe that Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Men Tell No Tales came out in 2017.
I know.
Already.
6 years ago.
It's not too far off from when I sit here and think Pirates of the Caribbean, I'm like 2003 to 2009.
Yeah.
And 6 years removed. Of course, the 6 years have flown by, so everything kind of seems like a blur since 2020. But
yeah.
I think if you blimped in those, in between, I blimped.
Well, and to me, I guess we can go ahead and talk about the sequels now. I just think they get like diminishing returns as they go. 2 was pretty good. I like the aspect of Davy Jones. I thought that was a really cool idea. Yeah, that's a good line. 3, there were parts of 3 that I remember. 4 is terrible. I thought, to be honest, I thought 5 on Dead Men Tell No Tales, I thought he was folded it in. I just don't think he cared. I thought his performance was bad, to be honest, in Dead Men Tell No Tales.
I don't remember 2, 3, 4, or 5. That's why, that's kind of what turned me off to this episode. When one or both of y'all brought it up, I was like, I don't know if I want to talk Pirates of the Caribbean. I might just get on there and trash the entire episode.
Deadman's Chest and At World's End are that trilogy.
It's pretty solid.
It's a solid trilogy. It's when they tried to go above and do more where it starts to get a little iffy, and that's where I bring in the Disney was like, let's throw that Pirates logo on there, replace Keira Knightley and whoever, and we'll still make the same amount of money. And when you get to that point of thinking, that's when the films diminish. But when you're doing it because you have a plan, you have a vision, you have the want to make a great film, regardless of the outcome, that's when films are great. But when you're doing it because you know that you're going to get a return on investment from it, that's when things go south.
Yeah. Well, and to me, it's just 4. I remember it being like Penelope Cruz and Blackbeard. I was just like, it's kind of cool that they kind of bring in like real life pirates that existed, but it's just like, no one, we don't care, honestly.
The premise is cool. The thought of the story is cool for that matter, but the execution of the story was dog shit.
It was really bad.
I wasn't. Yeah, I was super bummed about trying to rewatch this, but like now it's like the complete opposite. Like, 1's great. I don't think 2, 3, and 4. And I remember I saw the trailer for the Javier Bardem one, and Javier Bardem looked so cool and he looked creepy, and that's all he said in the teaser. And I'm like, I want to see that. It was so cool to see him in a Pirates movie, but it didn't deliver like it probably should.
I think the thing about this first one is it just has magic. It has that Disney magic that really does work, and it's such a fun ride, to be honest.
The early 2000s Disney magic, when they made things to make them enjoyable,
good,
not for money.
Yeah. The funny thing is like the original concept for this movie was going to be a heist film. It was going to be Jack Sparrow and his crew just go rob something, but the makers of the movie wanted to add elements of the Disney ride, so that's what they bring in like the undead pirates and like the curse that actually happens in the ride. The dog that's holding the keys that the prisoners are trying to lure him over, that's from the ride. And that to me is like, if you're going to do this, pay homage to it, but also do your own thing, which is, I think, ultimately they succeeded at the most.
And on top of that, Johnny Depp actually going to get and be in the ride and kind of catch guests off.
There's footage of that on YouTube, and it's quite hysterical.
It really is. But, all this has just kind of blossomed into a huge different thing. I remember when I did go to Disney back in 2005, one of the biggest things I wanted to get was some of the medallion, the coins for that matter, from the Pirates of the Caribbean. It's different stuff like that just were cool back then.
And Zach's looking up who was nominated that year. I kind of almost forgot that Johnny Depp was nominated and was invited to the Oscars for like best actor for Jack Sparrow.
It's cool. That is so cool.
You would think that it was, another role would have done that or something in his career, but I kind of want to know, Zach, who was nominated that year with him and who won.
Well, that was the year that Oscars was dominated by Return of the King. It won pretty much every single thing it was nominated against. The best actor category, it was Johnny Depp, Ben Kingsley, Jude Law, and Bill Murray. Sean Penn won for Mystic River. I was like, what?
Who's seen Mystic River?
Academy Award for Best Actor in a Leading Role was Adrian Brody.
That was the year before, in 2002.
It says 2003.
Well,
Academy Award.
It was
not.
Maybe it was the 2002 Oscars in 2003.
I got you.
Yeah.
I don't know how to look this up. That's why you do it.
What did you guys think of the undead sequences? Were you okay with the undead? At first, I didn't like it. That was one of the least things I liked about the Pirates movies was, he's a dead Sparrow, he's a dead guy, but after watching it today, I was like, I appreciated it a little bit more.
It makes sense because it's the curse.
But he also, Jack Sparrow said something earlier in the movie, there's like a scene where one of the guys, I think it was Rush, asked him, like, "You're not dead yet? I thought you were dead." And he was like, "Last time I checked," he kind of like played along like he is dead.
Yeah.
I don't know. But then when he's revealed that he's a dead pirate, he's like, "Oh, I didn't know that could happen."
Well, I mean, he took some of the coins from the thing, so
and twists it in his fingers and all that. Looks up into the light, and then he's
could resist mate.
I think at the very end, especially the battle between everybody in the cave at the end, was fantastic.
When they blow up that boat too.
Because there's stuff like that. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's all kinds of elements about this movie that just make it an amazing film. But at the same time, you've got them doing physics with lifting the bar doors on the prison with the bench, and the sword fighting that they're just trying to go ahead and outplay one another. There's tons of different things, like the entrance for that matter, when he just steps off the mast and onto the
pier
and keeps walking.
Or when he wakes up to all the rum being on fire.
They go to Tortuga. No, I'm just kidding. But
I think the money.
Different things.
Well, I think the money shot for me is really when the undead are walking on the ocean floor that's headed towards the British ship. I think that scene really holds up, and that's really what sold me on wanting to see the movie when it originally came out. That trailer is really freaking good if you've ever seen it or have a chance to look it up. The funny thing is, just like the logistics. Sometimes when I was watching it, it was just like when Keira Knightley threatens to throw the medallion in the ocean. It's like, I guess it is useless. It's like, yeah, but they can later in the movie they're going to walk on the ocean floor. So
Did
your
this?
threat is kind of meaningless.
Let me ask you guys this. Or go ahead, Craig. Go ahead.
I say she's threatening to throw it when they're out in the ocean. They're kind of near the shore.
Sure. Yeah.
This is a simple like yes or no question. But did this movie like make you guys intrigued to watch any of the other movies?
Yeah.
The second one,
does.
yeah.
Second, third, and yeah. Because the second and third, I think, are solid, but the fourth and fifth kind of fall off.
If you're watching this movie and you don't know what 2 and 3 are about, or if you haven't seen them in a while, as you're watching the movie, you're so engulfed with this universe that you're like, man, if there is a second or third one, I want to see that, because you enjoy the universe that they put you in this movie. And that's, like you said, that's what's magical about it is it's not just a movie. You feel engulfed in this universe when you watch it. And that is what makes made Disney so special, is you felt a part of a certain story when you watched that film.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing the second one in theaters, and I was very, very excited about it. And I remember the cliffhanger at the end of the second one. I was just like, when the movie ended, it was like, wait, what? What is that supposed to mean? And that became, the Pirates movies really became a phenomenon, if you really think about it, because the first one's kind of like, we don't know what this is. It has Johnny Depp, has some pretty good actors in it. But the second one, it blew up. I mean, I remember that theater being packed, and the third one was the same way. And it was just something that, we hadn't seen in a long, long time, especially pirate movies. And the magic worked. So
I mean, think about it, like before that, the only technical pirate movies were like what? Hook,
Treasure Planet,
was Treasure Planet?
The Muppets Treasure Planet.
Well, Treasure Planet.
I was talking about the animated one. Yeah.
When was that?
That was like 2001, 2002.
Treasure Planet.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was 01.
But
you're right.
So I mean, other than that,
and they sold a lot of Halloween costumes.
Live action was Hook.
Oh no, Treasure Planet was 2002, so it was just a year before that. So that's kind of crazy. So I mean, overall, what do you think the legacy of this movie is? I think
one will live on for forever.
Forever. Yeah.
And then
it's just
everything after that is just kind of the side items. Like number one's the steak. Everything else is side
potatoes,
the sauce. It doesn't fill you up. It's at points you have good, it tastes good here and there, but it doesn't fill you up. You got to go back and watch the rest.
You could almost, compare it to one of its counterparts that we kind of talked about last week in, recent watches. Like we went to go see Indiana Jones. You can kind of compare it to Indiana Jones. The first one is magical, one of a kind, but other than that, after that, they just kind of, all blend together and fall off.
You're still in the lore, but it's not the best.
Yeah. Whoever asked that question, that's how I think I'm going to interpret this movie is watch this one. This one will be good, but the rest of them are just kind of fill in the blanks.
And it's not Pirates of the Caribbean's fault, because you're put on limited locations. You're on a ship in the ocean. You can't sit there and be like, I know that ship was in the ocean next to that rock. You know what I mean? Like one is memorable because it is just really, really good. And it's the first one you saw, so it sticks with you. After that, you're like, okay, they are in the ocean, but who's the main character? Who's the antagonist? Who's the pro?
Well, and I would go so far to say is that if you exclude the MCU and all all the superhero stuff that we're still going through right now, I would say that's probably the last big epic, probably that was very, very successful and people are excited for since probably the first Dune. I'm gonna be honest, I know that's like a long stretch. I'm sure there's something in between there, but like those two are like, obviously they're very different films. One's Disney swashbuckler, one's a science fiction epic, but on the same franchise, on the same level, both of them they build such a good mythology for these characters in these worlds that you want to go back to one.
When was the first
Obviously,
Dune?
2021. So yeah.
Oh, okay. You're okay. Never mind.
I thought you were talking about the 80s Doom.
That's what I was.
Oh,
I was
hell
like,
no.
There's plenty of other movies.
No.
Exactly.
Oh, and the funny thing is, this was the third highest grossing film of that year, behind Return of the King and Finding Nemo. So I'd say they did pretty well for themselves.
Yeah.
Return of the King.
Well, not all treasure is silver and gold, mate.
Silver and gold.
Silver and gold.
Yeah.
Frosty the Snowman over here.
Favorite scene for our Christmas episode.
Zach, do you have a favorite scene from Curse of the Black Pearl?
I have a lot. I mean, the Jack versus Will sword fight in the swordsman shop was really well done.
Fun scene.
The Moonlight Undead Pirates, where Keira Knightley sees that, you best start believing in nightmare.
She sees the
fairy
bones.
tales or whatever.
You best start
It's
believing
really
in
cool.
ghost stories.
Ghost stories, yeah. And then just the whole final act of Barbossa versus Jack, Will and Elizabeth fighting the goons, the attack on the ship. That was really good. And then I think probably like I said, the money shot is the pirates walking on the ocean floor in their skeletal form. So,
I can name a few. It would be
Parlay.
The sword fight in the barn. Jack's dead scene where you see him as an undead for the first time, and then the ending where the whole ending sequence from the time he is trying to get hung until he takes control of the Black Pearl, where he steps and he's standing on the sword so he doesn't get hung. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, we can't forget about when they catch Keira Knightley and they're like, "Hello, puppet!" Like, it's a good scene. Yeah. I mean, you're sitting there scared because she's running, and the first time you watch it, you're not sure
how deep it's going to go.
How deep, but also to the level of how evil are these pirates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Later on, you find out that those two are very comical. They're not very, they're lighthearted, but they seemed evil initially. So, but that first time when they catch Keira in the closet, you're like, oh, this stuff's about to go down. So like that's a memorable scene, but also just the opening part when Jack comes in on the mast is memorable. It's iconic. Everybody knows. Like if you were like, oh, what's the movie where the pirate? They know. So that's my favorite scene.
Edward?
Mine would have to be the battle at the end, because when you're, it was really cool with the CGI and the prop effects and stuff like that they used, but at the end when you've got that one bomb that they place inside the guy while he's a skeleton and then push him to the light, and he just stuff like that is kind of dark comedy, but at the same time very, very comical, very just awesome stuff. And that whole battle from start to finish was awesome. So if you've never seen it, if you don't care about seeing the whole movie, see that part, and I swear you'll want to see the whole movie.
You'll swear. And speaking of, did you? I know it's a little off topic before we get into the star rating. Did you see the Zealands or the Netherlands new Burger King sandwich that's coming out?
No.
It's the biggest cheeseburger or something. It's just 2 buns.
Oh, it's like full of
pieces of cheese.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
You claim me that I'm like the Burger King aficionado, and all 3 of you bastards know about it.
It's only overseas. I don't think it's coming here because people would laugh at it.
Unless Edward wants to make a push.
Whopper cheese.
I do know a fact about Burger King that y'all don't. The most expensive burger in the world actually comes from Burger King.
See,
you're the spokesperson for Burger King.
You the big K bucks.
There's a caveat there. The most expensive burger in the world at a fast food place?
No.
In the world?
In the world.
What is it then? Give me the details. I feel like you're BSing me here.
Does it have special Edward sauce on it?
Not Edward sauce, but it does have a lot of different specialties.
Made with Edward meat.
Double meat, double cheese, extra onion, extra mayo. Hold the lettuce.
Because I've watched videos where people are like, "I'm eating this $1,000 hamburger because it's wrapped in layers of gold," and they like peel gold and lay it on there.
Is it one of them little Izzo burgers?
Japanese Wagyu.
I think it's a type of Wagyu, yes.
At Burger King?
It's a certain Burger King out in.
I don't trust you. I don't trust you.
Okay.
We only trust
Bro,
the man with the king.
their chicken
the
nuggets
crown.
are made with raccoon knuckles, so I don't want to.
Edward, you will. You know how everybody used to be a Monday Night Raw fan. You know, Jerry the King Lawler used to wear his crown while commentating. Edward, would you please wear a BK crown while doing this episode? And Craig will wear the cowboy hat.
What cowboy hat?
Lower Star.
Oh, if anybody needs to wear a hat, it's you, old Tiss Longhorns. JBL over here.
This
star rating.
This week on Ed's Food Diary.
Hey, you know what? We talked about the library one time on a certain episode, and it blew up. So we never know with these cheeseburgers nowadays.
The Halloween. I tell you, that conversation was better than the Halloween 4 movie. I gotta be honest.
Star rating for Pirates of the Caribbean: The Curse of the Black Pearl. I'm gonna give it a 9. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a good watch. Memorable music, score, Johnny Depp. 9 for me. Zach?
Right there with you, 9. Best. I think it's the best that the franchise ever got. To be honest, everything you just said: actor, editing, visual effects, the cast, story, and just a sense of realism. Is it's probably shot on location and made it all more magic real. So 9 for me. What about you, Craig?
Yeah, 9. It puts you in it puts you in a universe that you feel completely engulfed in. It was the first of its kind that Disney really put the money, the time, the effort, the resources behind to make it an epic film. They had epic animations, Lion King, Toy Story, all that, etc. But as far as a live action goes, this one was it when you were a kid. For Disney. So 9 stars.
Edward?
I'm going to go ahead and go above and go 10. This honestly is a movie that really, really kind of shaped how I loved movies when I was younger. The first 3 to me are very, very, very favorites of any movies out there for me.
Speaking of, Edward, that's why you are who you are. Speaking of going above and beyond, next week we boldly go where nobody has gone before, and we talked Star Trek from 2009. It's the first Star Trek movie we've ever talked about here on this podcast. Out of all the original ones, Next Generation, this is the one that we're talking about next week.
And by the way, you've been pushing this since like day one.
Who?
Been pushing it.
Ed?
Craig.
Trek.
No.
Me?
No, Johnny.
Me.
Oh,
trying to
okay.
get to do a Star Trek movie
I
forever.
was like,
I've been trying to do a Star Trek movie.
I was like, I've mentioned Star Trek, but I haven't been pushing it.
Next week we're talking about it, July 19th, 5:30 p.m. Star Trek from 2009.
The week after that, though.
The week after that,
Renfield.
No Mission
No Mission Impossible. No.
When are we doing Mission Impossible?
Probably on
when
Blu-ray.
it hits Blu-ray. Just because a lot of us had like super long.
Craig is pissed off right now.
I'm not pissed off.
I mean,
if you go back and listen to 2 weeks ago's episode, it was because the Flash. Everybody was so hyped. There was times that almost nobody went to go see it. I didn't know if I was going to see it. You didn't know, Edward. So just so that doesn't happen again, I think for the rest of the year we might do like Blu-ray releases.
Well, I was thinking, it's guaranteed a movie that we all want to see. So I figured at least 2 weeks out would be. What about Oppenheimer? I can understand a Blu-ray release like day one.
Yeah, that's what we're doing with Oppenheimer. So next week.
You realize The Flash is almost out of the movie theater? It has a Blu-ray release in August. It's literally almost out. Like, that's insane to me.
Yeah, and then it hits. I think it hits Blu-ray August the 8th,
22nd, I believe. Yeah, something like that.
Before that, yeah. So next week we're talking Star Trek. You can check it out on Paramount Plus. The week after that, the last Wednesday in July, we're talking Renfield, and then the very first episode in August, Craig, it was one of yours.
Battle Royale.
Battle Royale. So yeah. But we have
original.
We have some emails we're going to hurry up and try to get to before we get out of here. So again, you can email us at cinemen921@gmail.com.
If you don't want to email though, you can call Ed directly. Your complaints.
Complaints, threats, harassments, facebook.com or
drug deals, right, Ed? Drug deals.
Hating children.
Yeah. But this week, let's see.
Hitman Fire.
Stephanie's top 5 of 2023 so far. Number 5 is Megan. Number 4, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Number 3, Asteroid City. Number 2, Elemental. And number 1, Evil Dead Rise.
Megan wasn't my top 5, but it was a decent watch when I watched it.
It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Tiffany says Pirates of the Caribbean was a fun watch. Can't believe it turns 20 this year. 7 stars. Nathaniel says just seen John Wick Chapter 4 before your episode, and I have to admit, best in the series. 10 stars.
John Wick.
Jesse's top 5 of 2023 so far. Number 5, The Covenant. Number 4, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Number 3, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Number 2, John Wick Chapter 4. Number 1, Scream 6.
The Gina Ortega effect.
I feel like I had a stroke when I was reading that email. I can't read today.
You can't read any day.
Unless
get the water. Get the water.
Unless it says A24, that's the only thing you can read.
All of a sudden, he has a monocle. Then he's like A24.
Look like data from Star Trek. Omar says, "Love the original Pirates film. It's top 5 for me any day of the week. 10 stars all the way."
Agreed.
David says, "First time emailer, long time listener. I don't know why, but I can't get into any of the pirate films. Tried for this episode because I always watch what you guys talk about. I finished it, but still not my cup of tea. It's a 6 for me."
Okay.
6 is still fairly high for a movie that you didn't care for.
At least you tried. That's what matters. You can send your complaints at 405-439-7353. Be taking requests and all.
Write that down. We're going to put it on the bathroom stall. Henry says, "Do you guys agree the original Pirates is such a good film, but I think it's an overall underrated franchise?"
On the first half, yes. But on the second half, there's debate.
I don't know if it's underrated because, like, the first 3 people enjoy it, even though they have, like, the scores are fairly low after 1. It's like 45 and then 40% for 2 and 3. I think people just kind of lost interest because of the gap between 3 and 4, and then the replacement of the characters between 3 and 4.
Yeah, that's true.
Sarah 97 says, "Johnny Depp is my all-time favorite actor, so I'm super biased. Curse of the Black Pearl is a 10.
Agreed.
We'll read this one more, then we'll mention some other stuff and get out of here. Casey says my top 5 of 2023 so far. Number 5, Ant-Man. Number 4, Super Mario Brothers. Number 3, The Flash. Number 2, Evil Dead Rise, and number 1, No Hard Feelings.
Nice.
So if you guys want to keep them coming, send us some more emails. Next week, we're talking our top 5 worst movies of 2023 so far. Send those in. Send in your favorites. Send us in your star ratings for Pirates. Next week is Star Trek from 2009. You can find that on Paramount Plus. So a lot of these movies, Renfield is on Peacock in a few weeks. So all these movies are very, very easy to access.
Access.
What?
Access.
But before we get out of here again, guys, please go help out Franco, the creator of this YouTube channel. Go help him out. He just found out this week his daughter was diagnosed with cancer. We've all known and seen somebody who cancer has affected. So in this time of need, when all they want to do is just be there for their daughter, help them out. All the links to helping out is in the comments. It's in the section comments here of the links of the podcast on the YouTube channel, all over the social medias. So go help out. If you can't help, keep them in their thoughts. Keep them in your thoughts. Pray and share the stuff on social media if you can get on there. If you can't help out financially. So prayers.
Kind words go a long ways.
Yeah. So everybody over there, you guys are all of our thoughts and prayers. So thinking of you. Other than that, guys, Chris Pine, Zoe Saldana,
J.J. Abrams.
I think it's going to be a fun episode. Edward, have you ever seen Star Trek from 2009?
Yes, I have.
Zach, Craig?
Yep.
Of course I have.
Should be a fun watch. This time next week, we'll be talking our first conversation ever for Star Trek. So should be excited. Does this bring up anybody to want to watch any of the original movies from the 70s, 80s, or 90s? No, they're on Paramount Plus.
Star Trek started with this movie to me. I understand the lore. I understand the people in Star Trek, but this movie is when I was like, okay, I can get into Star Trek here.
Believe me here, Scotty.
Also, that movie from like 2003 or whatever was abysmal. Whichever one that was.
Oh, the one with Tom Hardy?
Nemesis.
I think so.
Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
That's the next generation crew. Yeah. So we'll get into it. We'll talk some Star Trek next week. I think I'm going to try to dig into some of the original motion pictures this week. Star Trek 09 next week. Guys, any other comments for Pirates or for our donations that we're trying to help out with today?
Pirates, man. Savvy. That's the last I've got for that. But at the same time, can't say it enough, can't say it anymore, but in our hearts and our prayers and our minds and our thoughts, simple as that. Godspeed, because I don't know, man. It's got to be one of the toughest things right there, but they give battles to tough people, so y'all can get through it. Just takes time and a bit of extra help here and there. So you got it.
Yep, and like I said, if you were a fan of the first Pirates of the Caribbean and you did not get to see this when it was released in 2003, you can go to the Warren Theater and more and check it out for its 20th anniversary. So, definitely do that.
It's kind of legit.
I think it's going to be a fun topic of conversation next week. Star Trek 09. Craig, looking forward to Star Trek. Zachary Quinto, don't take all your frustration on Zachary. You can do nothing.
Yeah, actually, I enjoy the cast in this. That trio right there was a solid pick for them to start their version, their generation. And it really only gets better in the second one, I believe. I'd have to see him again, but I believe I enjoyed at least the second one. I'm not going to say anything about the third.
Well, we'll tackle the first one next week. We'll talk to everybody next week. July 19th, 5:30, right here as we talk Star Trek from 09. J.J. Abrams next week. Cine-Men Movie Podcast. Boldly go. Or no.